I went through the heads of argument that were prepared by the state, as were forwarded to me yesterday. Now I realize that this is exactly what we were busy with on Friday, or what we dealt with on Friday, except for 1 or 2 additions, where the state seeks to give justification on the reason why this information was not led in examination in chief. The state is alleging that the reason why this information, insofar as list number 3 was not led in examination in chief, is that the state was solely focusing on the identity of the suspect by way of his clothing and the dreadlocks. And they are saying this with specific reference to accused number 3. In other words, the state seeks to tell this court that in their evidence in chief, they were only concerned about the identity of the suspect according to the house, the gun-toting suspect, by way of his clothing and the dreadlocks. But now this is a misnomer. This is not the case, because Brigadier Kininda specifically indicated that when he made an application to the magistrate for the warrant of arrest of the accused, he specifically indicated in Exhibit 20 ZZ and this is what it says in Exhibit ZZ, that photos downloaded and taken of the accused by himself, in brackets selfies, match the description of the suspect, who had a firearm with dreadlocks, big eyes, and with a gold teeth. This is the suspect that went into the house, made a demand of a cell phone and money. He's also the same suspect that shot the deceased in the method during the struggle with him. Now, with this information, it is therefore not accurate to say that the state only concentrated on the clothing of the suspect and the dreadlocks only, because this evidence, which was introduced as Exhibit ZZ, they also specifically referred to the golden teeth, or the gold teeth that this suspect is described in the paragraph that I've already read, had. But even beyond that, when I cross-examined Brigadier Kininda, with this information that is contained in this paragraph that I've just read, I requested him to specifically refer us to Exhibit XX, to Exhibit S, where these identifying features of this in this suspect were, or in this suspects were the suspect with the dreadlocks, the big eyes, and the golden teeth. He tried the best that he can to identify the suspect with the dreadlocks. I even said to him, no, it's not in dispute that accused number 3 on the day in question, on the date of the incident, had dreadlocks. This is apparent from the selfies that he actually took himself on the day of on the 24th, on the 26th of October 2014. But the description of the dreadlocks that is mentioned by witnesses who were in the house differ materially from that which from the dreadlocks that are visible in the selfies that he took. The big eyes. He tried to give an explanation that I still cannot even understand now. But the issue here is about the gold tip. When Brigadier Kininda was requested by me to direct us to a photo is contained in Exhibit S, a photo that denotes that the suspect had a golden teeth, he referred to this court to photo number 15 in Exhibit S. He specifically referred to this court to number 15 and said that is accused number 3, and there's a golden teeth. And in fact, that photo number 15, I'm not an expert, but when one looks at it, is a photo that would have been taken on the 24th of November 2014. On the 23rd of November 2014. When one looks at it, to the right-hand side of the upper teeth line, I don't know what to call it now. Yes. There appears to be something that is shiny there. I will assume that's the gold, and that is exactly what Brigadier Kininda referred to when he said, yeah, no, this is accused number 3, and we can see here that on the upper, on this upper jaw, there's a golden teeth. Now one wonders whether the picture that is denoted there is one of accused, exemplifies accused number 3, or that's a picture of accused number 3. It is clear to all and sundry, and this is beyond reproach, that cannot be accused number 3. That is not accused number 3, and that will never be accused number 3. Now, the state further seeks to justify the fact that it is basically the state, and I'm gleaning this from the heads of argument of the state, that this information was extensively canvassed by the defense in the cross-examination of Brigadier Kininda. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. We never at any point ever suggested that accused number 3 had a golden teeth. That was not our evidence. This evidence came from the state itself. It is Brigadier Kininda who, when he made an application to the magistrate for the arrest of accused number 3, made this, indicated in his affidavit that accused number 3 had a golden teeth. And that is contained in his affidavit. Now the state seeks to justify their omission to lead to this evidence by saying that it was canvassed by the defense. As I'm saying, it was never our case. We have admitted many a time that most of the photos that are appearing on Exhibit S, indeed, some of them are selfies, some of them are photos which denote how accused number 3 looked on the 26th of October 2014. But at no point did we ever made an assumption that accused number 3 at some stage had a golden teeth. And in fact, I remember when Brigadier Kininda was testifying, if my memory serves me well, there was an issue with regard to the doctor who took, where accused number 2 was taken for a dental a dental investigation on whether or not he had a golden teeth. I remember the doctor came and told this court, or there was information that was placed before court here that the doctors are able to see whether or if a person had some gold dentures or something like that, or some golden teeth, irrespective of the period that they had been having that golden teeth. And I specifically remember the court saying, no, it can't be. A person with a golden teeth in 2014, it is impossible for doctors to come and state with certainty that after 6 or 7 years, or even 14 or 8 years, to come and say that such a person had a golden teeth. But the doctors, insofar as Ntanzi was concerned, that doctor who came here, that medical doctor, he was able to tell that Ntanzi never had a golden teeth in 2014 when his examination was done in 2020. That is one of the requests that we actually put forward, that if the state insists that accused number 3 had a golden teeth, because this is their evidence, we are going to request that accused number 3 should go through the same process as well for determination by a medical expert whether or not accused number 3 had a golden teeth at the time of the commission of this evidence. But importantly, again, my lord, is the fact that at the time of the presentation of this evidence, the state already had this information. The state alleges that they gave us this information just before the commencement of the trial, which was contained in those 700 photos. We don't dispute that. It is indeed so. But the question, therefore, is, and I cannot doubt that the state did a sterling job, did a proper investigation. Each and every piece of evidence that they wanted to present to the court, they went through it, analyzed it meticulously. And I'm not only speaking about a state that was seated as an individual person. I'm talking about a state that was a case that was prepared by 3 extremely experienced prosecutors, advocates, extremely competent people. I may also add that I have no doubt in my mind that the head of the department of the Director of Public Prosecutions here, Pretoria Advocate Mzinyathi, would now and then come and check whether or not the investigation or the evidence that the state was trying to gather in order to come and present here was all in place. Now, it strikes one very, very strange that at the time of the presentation of such a crucial evidence, the state would have missed these particular photos that they seek to present now. And the state specifically says, no, we're able to identify these photos at the time at which Advocate MNISI was afforded the opportunity to go and prepare, whilst reading for those 40,000 pages, to come and assist accused number 1 in the cross-examination of Brigadier Keninda. I know, my lord, there is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in the state to continue to investigate a case whilst the trial is proceeding. But this is totally different because the state already had that information. If this information was material and if this information was relevant, when I say information, I'm referring to the pictures of accused number 3 that the state is seeking to introduce now as new evidence. If this was so material and so relevant, it would definitely not have skipped the state's mind. This is just a pure indication that this information is totally irrelevant, because had it been relevant, it would have been led by them. Introduction of a new evidence in the course of a trial, or when the trial is proceeding, has got a propensity to prejudice the case of the accused person, because accused person then has got to take some 100 steps backward to try and fathom what is it that could have been said against him, what is it that had all of a sudden prompted the state to come with this information, could this be in line with this defense, and all those factors, my lord. But the primary consideration here is that there is no valid reason why this information was not accused by the state in the examination in chief of Brigadier Kinina, based on the background that I've already sketched out. Reference might be had to all the cases that deal about the fairness of justice, what is contained in state versus Hepworth and everything. But the state needs to come up with compelling reasons, not just reasons of a cursory nature, but compelling reasons why they did not provide this, or they did not bring forth this evidence through Brigadier Kininda when he testified in his evidence in chief, my lord. I would therefore request that in the interest of justice, that this evidence should not be admitted, my lord. Thank you.
Family, what do you think about MNISI arguments about photos that have shown up as new evidence from the prosecutor Baloyi, and the fact that MNISI has warned them that if this evidence is easily admitted, that will mean his client, accused number 3, because of the cold tooth that they said he had, so he should be taken to a dentist, which are professionals on teeth, so they will easily identify if accused number 3 did have a gold tooth. It doesn't matter how long it's been, but they can easily identify, like it was done to Ntanzi. So now, is the prosecutor digging a grave again for itself? Because should accused number 3 go to the dentist and find out that he has never had a gold tooth, so what will be the stand of the prosecutor to stand ground that this is exactly the person who has been identified as somebody who shot Senzo Meiwa? Will that stand in court? Like, we know that every time they are, the prosecutor and the judge are like chameleons, they keep changing stands, because at some point they will change, like they have changed on DNA when it came there, and like these guys are not part of whatever evidence that has come from the swap of the head DNA. They were not included. They were inclusive. They were excluded. So now, what if the same results come out? Will the judge take a stand like in O.J. Simpson's case, where O.J. Simpson was meant to fit a glove and the glove didn't fit, but it was part of the evidence that he was wearing the gloves when he strangled his wife? So I just want to understand if the judge will take that stand and say, okay, for this evidence, because he didn't do it when Ntanzi did not have a cold tooth. He didn't do it when Ntanzi said, Mjiako was not my lawyer when he took the confession. He didn't do it on the gun issue, that the eyewitnesses said it was a gun with a wheel, but gun that has been brought in court is a gun called 9mm. So it seemed as if this case is about, it's like a police was shot dead. That's why every time people who are giving evidence are coming from the police side. I don't understand. Why are they not bringing the witnesses who were in the scene of crime to come and say, this is what we know, we saw this person, this is what happened? But all this kind of evidence that is being brought in court, photos, a gun and other things, it's just kind of like, you don't understand. The witnesses that are coming are from the police side. Where are the eyewitnesses and when are they going to come? This is crazy. But anyway, let's wait and see if the judge will somersault, because it looks like the judge has granted. So now we are waiting to see as they are going to cross-examine the guy who did the photos from the downloads from their phone. What do you think, family? Let's wait and see what will be the cross-examination that will come from the defense side. Let's keep the fire burning. You could see that the tension in the court is still strong between MNISI and the judge. You could see that it's time for revenge. We know the judge never likes any confrontation. He will, one way or the other, try to revenge in a wrong way, and he will find himself out of that court. Let's wait and see if anything will happen in that court. Ngiyantanda nonke ngothando lukaLove. Ngithi bantu bakithi bravo bravo.